again.
Once again, you don't have to be sorry at all to ask any question. Please ask your question.
Okay, sir. Sir, what is exclusive?
Exclusive means something special. Okay. So, for example, you may have love for ladu, chiroti, and so many other things. But you may have special love for maybe, let's say, badshah. So that is what it means.
Okay, sir.
Exclusive. Just only one moment, please. I'm going to put you on hold for a moment. Children, I'll just take a call. Looks like there is some emergency. Please give me a moment.
Sir, what happened?
Okay, looks like one of my friend has some emergency. So, and he said it's okay for me to come after the class. So I'll go to him. Okay, let
Sir,
us.
can I ask what happened?
I don't know. He didn't tell me that. Let us come back to the class.
Okay, sir.
So, yeah, sir, did you understand what is exclusive?
Yes, sir. Like something special.
Ah, and here Krishna is saying those who have exclusive devotion, meaning when you constantly remember, when you constantly recall, and when you constantly apply in your life Krishna's teachings. And that is where, when we look at the lives of great masters like Prabhuji, we can see what they do constantly. Constantly is involved in helping others, in teaching others, in taking the message of the great rishis to others. So that is what exclusive devotion is.
Okay, sir. Understood. Thank you.
Any other question? Namit, do you have any other question?
No, sir.
Okay, excellent. Now let me go to Sampriti. Yes, Sampriti, what is your question?
Sir, even though you've told this word has come in lot of classes, I'm asking it again.
Yeah.
What is transcendental form?
Okay, transcendence. Okay, let's understand what is meant in transcendence, a transcendental form. So now, do you see a fan?
Yes,
Do you see light bulb?
yes,
Do you see your computer?
yes,
Okay. Now you know that all of them are working by electricity, right?
yes,
Can
yeah,
you see electricity?
no,
Huh. So electricity is something that cannot be seen, but it is there. You know it, right?
yeah,
Because it is there, then only the fan is working, light is working, and the computer is working, right?
yes,
So you can, in a way, say that fan is the visible form and electricity is the invisible or the transcendental form, something which is beyond, but you know it is there.
yeah,
Okay?
okay,
Does it make sense now?
yes.
All right, wonderful. What is the next question?
No, sir, only one question.
Very nice. Okay. Thank you, Sampriti. Then let me go to Anvi. What is the question of Anvi? Anvi, you cannot be heard. Can you be louder, please?
What is preserved?
Anvi, really sorry. Can you please come closer to the mic and speak?
Sir, can you hear me now?
Ah, much better, Anvi. Please tell.
What is preserve?
Preserve. Preserve means to protect. So, for example, let's say you have a very favorite doll. You always take care of it. You make sure that nobody comes and destroys it. Or let's say you have a book, nice book that you love. You put nice little cover. You preserve, right? So that it is there with you for a longer time. So
Okay.
preserve means to protect, to take care of something.
Okay.
Any other question?
No, sir.
Excellent. What about Chirantan?
Sir, what is Bhuta Yajna?
Bhuta Yajna. Bhuta means, see, in this world, there are so many things that help you to do whatever you're doing. Let's take one simple example. Rice. So, Amma gives you rice, no? With sambar? Okay.
Yes.
So, from where did Amma get that rice?
From farm.
From farm.
Market.
Huh?
From market.
From market. So, you go to one shop and you buy it, no? How did the shop fellow get it?
From farmer.
From farmer. So how did it come to the from the farmer to the shop? Did it just come by flying?
No, from the truck.
Some truck carried it, right? And so many people have been responsible for designing the truck, right?
Yes.
Okay, now let us come to the farmer. Now, how does it just automatically happen to the farmer, the rice?
No, he would plant.
He would have to put a seed. Just by putting the seed, will the plant come?
No, by watering the plant.
He has to take care of it.
Yes.
Now, did he make the water?
No.
Who made the water? Water is part of the existence, right?
Rain.
And is water alone sufficient for the plant to grow?
No.
What else is necessary?
Sun and air.
Sun and air. Now, sun is giving the light. Air is also bringing the right nutrients. Mother Earth is giving the nutrients. There are so many small creatures which make the soil fertile, which give the right kind of energy to the plant, isn't it? So now that is what the farmer is nurturing. And then he has to put so much of effort, no, to grow it, to clean it, and then somebody has to process it. Then the truck carries it to your shop. Then that shop fellow has to sell it to the Amma. Amma and Appa, can they just give it, go to the shop and get it? No, they have to have money. Otherwise, this won't happen. So for getting money, Appa has to work somewhere. So that is what comes to your plate as rice that you eat, isn't it? So when a little rice has come to your plate, you see so many things are connected to that little rice that you're eating, isn't it? So the entire existence is coming to you in the form of rice. So you see how wonderful life is. So that you are eating the rice, but you may thank Amma, thank you, today rice and sambar was nice. But when have we thanked Surya Bhagavan? When have we thanked air? When have we thanked water? When have we thanked each of those little creatures? When have we thanked all the people who have designed that truck? When have we thanked all those people who carried rice on their back? When have we thanked that shop fellow? So you see, Bhuta Yajna means you realizing that your each and every moment is a contribution from the rest of the existence. Each and every moment. My one breath, when I take, I may be, because of so many microorganisms, I may be destroying. But that is essential for this body to be preserved. When I eat food, the food offers itself to be part of this body. So, shouldn't I be grateful to all of them?
Yes.
Bhuta Yajna means that I realize this immense sacrifice the rest of the existence is making for me to be preserved, for this body to be preserved. And I return that. When somebody gives you something wonderful, what do you feel like doing to them? At least a thanks. Yeah, you want, isn't it necessary to help? Now,
Yes.
see, we are receiving so much of wisdom, so much of wonderful messages from great masters like Prabhuji. And he has received it through the tradition of the great rishis. Isn't it on us to offer it to others?
Yes.
Likewise, Bhuta Yajna means to help all the beings, irrespective of in what form they appear. Okay? Is it
Okay.
clear?
Yes, Vijayji.
Any other question, Chirantan?
No, Vijayji. Thank you,
Very-
Vijayji.
You're welcome. Yes, Rishita, what is your question?
Nothing. I think it was.
Oh, you had raised your hand. That's why I'm asking.
I think it
You got the answer, is it?
happened on.
Okay.
No. I didn't have any question.
Okay, all right. Wonderful.
By
Is there
mistake,
any other
maybe.
question or anything else that somebody wants to ask? Okay. If not, may I ask what is that you realized today through this discussion? Who can volunteer? Let me ask first Manya. Can Manya state what you understood from today's discussion?
Yes, Vijayji. So, so we learned another side of the shloka, like there are yajnas, which is service, and there are different types of yajnas. And also that if we are doing any yajna to anybody, then that actually comes back to us. Maybe not immediately or maybe not through the same person, later or through another situation or through another service, through another person, but it definitely comes back to us, and God is always blessing people who do yajnas. And that these different types of yajnas, the Rishi yajna is the most important, and that we must always try to help out those people, because the service which we do is also the like showing our devotion to God.
Excellent. So rather than giving somebody money when they're begging, if you can help them to stand on their own, that's a better yajna. Rather than giving somebody food to eat as a dana, if you can teach them how to find the food, how to earn, it's a better yajna. So rather than giving a fish to eat, teach somebody how to fish. And that is
Because when we teach somebody how to fish, then it's equal to giving them fish every day.
correct.
And then also a point in the shloka, it says that when we help somebody, so we might think that like suppose I'm helping somebody in some ways, like fishes, for example. So we may think that if I have 100 fishes and I give him 10 fishes, then I will only have 90 fishes. But Lord Krishna is saying that whenever we are helping somebody, whatever else we do not have, so suppose I don't have vegetables, I have only fishes, then Lord Krishna gives me vegetables, and also the 100 fishes which I have, I'm not going to lose them, but he's also going to protect them.
Very nice. See, in fact, if you think in terms of the knowledge, in terms of the jnana, when you're offering, when you are distributing jnana, it multiplies. So there is no end. So when for example, when I interact in this class and when I'm teaching, in order to interact and in order to teach, I have to learn more. So in a way, it only multiplies. It never diminishes. So Krishna is saying that what you offer always multiplies. And among the things that you offer, the Rishi Yagna, taking the message of the great masters to help somebody to live in freedom, to help them realize their own innate power, to help them realize that they can be happy, healthy, and peaceful. When somebody is peaceful, they can stand up and do whatever that is necessary as a next step in life. That is the essential message of all the great masters. See, whatever may be the situation around you, there may be fire. Only when you are stable, only when you are calm, can you look at what is the next step to take. Otherwise, you can get excited and unnecessarily increase the fire, isn't it? So that is your innate power. And the message of the great masters help you to realize that potential within you. That is your true nature. Is it all making sense?
Yes, Vijayji. So when you spoke about knowledge, I recall a shloka. Can I
Yes.
share it?
Yes, please.
So it goes like this: Nacho raharyam, nacharajharyam, na bhatrabhadyam, nachabarakari, vyaye krite vardat eva nityam, vidyadanam sarvadhan pradhanam. So this shloka means that there are different kinds of wealth in this materialistic world, but there is one which is one of those wealth is knowledge, though it is not completely materialistic. So knowledge is the most precious of all the other wealth, and also this wealth cannot be stolen by a thief, and nor can it be taken as a tax or in any other way snatched by a king or any ruler, and nor is it some kind of a property which can be divided among brothers from a father or in any inherited way. And also this is not something which is very burdenous to carry. It is very weight, and it makes you lighter, in fact. And whenever you give this knowledge to anybody, it never decreases, but then it multiplies tenfold.
Excellent. Thank you very much for sharing that, Manya.
Thank you, Vijayji.
All right. Then let us end the contemplation of this shloka here.
Sir,
Yes, yes, Namit.
sir, I had one question when you told just now.
Yeah.
Sir, I had also wrote it in the chat box. What is diminishes?
What is?
Diminishes.
Diminishes.
Yeah, diminishes.
Diminish means to reduce, to become less and less.
Okay, sir, can we say like to descend?
Can we say like what?
Descend from up to down.
It is like, for example, let's say you have 3 banana, you have eaten one. Now it is diminished, meaning the numbers have diminished. So it is reducing, not necessarily up to down. It is reducing, something that reduces. Diminishing means.
Okay, sir, understood.
Okay. All right. So let me end the contemplation of this shloka.